guys, hello, hi, welcome back to my channel, and this is another interesting video that I've been meaning to film and discuss since a very long time. And these are things that I do in order to read better, to track my reading, to kind of make my reading experience a much more enlightened one, basically. And of course, like, you don't need to take everything from this video and apply it. My point is, do a mismatch of all of these things, like mix it, mash it, use some of the ideas that I told you. If you have some other ideas or tips, put it in the comment section below so I can also apply them and see if it works out for me. But the point is that we are all individual people, we are different people, and what works for me may not always work for you. For example, I read multiple books at a time. It may not work for you, although I do have a separate video on that, plug-in alert. But yeah, you get my point. Like, apply whatever you think is applicable for you or experiment accordingly. These are just ideas that I am presenting, that I do, that have helped me improve my reading a lot. And that being said, this video is kind of divided into two parts. The first part is the physical aspect of it, and the second part is the virtual aspect. So the physical aspect includes things that I do in the physical realm in order to improve my reading or make my reading experience much better. And the second part of it would be mainly applications that I use on my phone or websites that I use in order to help me read better. Basically, try timestamps under description box below. Go ahead, check them out. And if you enjoy this video, do the usual. I don't need to tell you what's the usual, but do the usual and stick around till the end, because I may have some bonus tips as well. So yeah. So starting with the basics, my physical setup, right? The first thing that I actually have is a book journal. If you're someone who's like very old school like me, who loves using pen and paper, then a book journal is a thing that you would really like. Now the thing is that the book journals that I have seen on YouTube are pretty much like these pretty little notebooks which kind of record a lot of like your reading information. But I don't do that. Like, if pretty is something that works for you, then please go ahead, do that. But especially when it comes to productivity or reading, I cannot do that much pretty stuff, and that's why I use like a simple matrix notebook. Like, this is a 5-subject notebook as my book journal. So what this basically has is my like reading plans, my group read plans, and I'll just show you. I'll just give you an example. So basically, I was looking forward to participating in Lit with Indian Lit, and I was making a list of, I would say, Indian translated books, and this was kind of my list. There's a lot of cancellations that's happened, and I was trying to like put in the point system as well. Now, this is ugly AF. I totally agree. But the point is that this is like productivity or a brain dump for me in order to understand what I want to read next and how I want to see my reading life to go. Now, again, if you think this is like overkill of any format, then I would just say that something that I really like doing is listing the books that I want to read. So this is something called a reading chart, where I just list down the books that I have to read. And for example, these are the books that I was reading for one challenge. These were the books that I was reading for another challenge, and these are the books that I was reading for the BookTube prize. So things like that kind of get documented in my book journal in order to kind of supervise, or I would say, like, productivity is a bad word in my opinion when it comes to books, but a better word would be to kind of steer my reading in a clear direction. And another thing that I did was kind of write my thoughts about the BookTube prize books, because I had to rate it at the end of the day. Again, there is a video on that as well that you can go and check it out. And while this video is being filmed, I am also reading for the BookTube prize final. So I'll be like following a similar setup for that particular aspect as well. And yeah, then other than that, then again, this is a reading chart which kind of helps me keep my reading updated. Basically, like, for example, these were the books that I was reading at a particular point of time, and once I read them, I it completely got I forgot the word, strike through, correct? Like, I strike through the word, through the sentence, or through the title basically. And then there was this thing called Some Books That I Want to Read, which included 2 books from the Booker International shortlist, which went to one of these won the Booker International Prize as well. And oh, then there's a lot of like whitener out here, like whiteout, because a lot of wrong stuff. And then one thing that I really like doing in this book journal is when I'm getting overwhelmed with my reading, which is generally like on a frequent basis, I kind of like put in a tab called currently reading anyhow and put it in here. So anything that's like currently reading, so at least I know like what is coming in, considering that I read 4 books at a time, what's coming in into my reading life and what's going out, so I can make space for more books. The Booker 2021 long list. So this is something that I made, and I also put in like notes here with like shortlist 14th of September and winner in the first week of November. And yeah, this was the list, and I just like cancelled out what I kind of already read. So I've already read No One Is Talking About This, and I have also now read Clara and the Sun. So I'm just going to cancel it like on camera right now. So yeah, both of these are done. Anything with dots are the books that interested me a lot, but at the end I kind of like ponder over what I really want to read, and that's what I pick out first. So for example, I can show you out of the long list, I picked out these 3 books. This is China Room, Fortune Men, and A Passage North, and that's what I plan to read from the Booker long list. Example. So this first part, now I told you this is a 5-page matrix notebook. So this first part of things is basically my current reading journal per se, where I just like brain dump and put in entries. My second entry is this bookshelf project that has been stalled for now, where I was reading the oldest books on my bookshelf, and turns out that I only finished Wuthering Heights and I just left it halfway. So yeah, that's that. Let's get to this third part, and that is my book list. So there are times when I order a lot of books from independent booksellers, like in bulk, and I cannot remember it, and then I just use this section. This is the third section that I use in order to just note down everything and whatever I have paid. And especially this happens at the Basement Bookstore, where you can hold books until a period of time. And remember the 21 books thing that I did from Jaipur? Yeah, again, linked above, check it out. Linked below as well, check it out. So yeah, this is like that kind of list. So it's like helpful to keep track of my ongoing conversations with booksellers. And the next section is of course this is the red section, like this is in red, and it says YouTube. And this is like a mess. Like I have a lot of stuff going on here. For example, I was planning something for the TBR Tackle readathon that Key from Books and Key and I did in Feb. So something over here, like we were planning, and I was writing stuff down. Then also a lot of thoughts on a book that I was supposed to review for camera, but then I stopped doing it because the book was super toxic. Yeah, then yeah, like it's super messy. Like you can see, like I have notes and notes and notes. And also one of my most viewed videos was my World Book Day video, so I have notes for that as well. So how does this help me, right? Like as a tool, the way this helps me is to compartmentalize my reading life. For example, I have this YouTube channel, so I use the red section in order to like check out my YouTube and keep track of my YouTube stuff. I have my current reading life going on, like as usual. Then I use these first 2 tabs, that's yellow and blue, in order to run it successfully. And the green tab would be the books that I kind of get recommended on a call or on a Zoom call, like anything. Like if I'm listening to somebody on YouTube, they're doing a live, like whatever it is, and I need to like jot down something immediately, then I have my book journal handy and I just jot down a lot of stuff in here. For example, like I was researching a lot on partition lit recently, so I found a bunch of books that I noted down here. So in short, like this is just like an idea that you can take and you can apply it to your own like realm. It's not beautiful, it's not pretty. You can make it beautiful, you can make it pretty. For me, like the way the others do it will not kind of work for me because I don't have the time, and I already like use a bullet journal to organize my life on a daily basis. So this is like something that helps me like keep me grounded when it comes to my reading, and it kind of gives me some kind of space to clear out what all books do I need to read and things like that. And again, like I said, only pick out things that you think are useful to you. If you don't find anything useful, then you can simply drop it. And that being said, let's go on to our next physical aspect, and that's stationery. So, of course, along with a book journal, you need, writing utensils. And this is what I use. This is my pouch of a lot of stuff, but I don't use everything for it, book journaling. Basically, like I just use a simple pen. But what helps me in here, okay, let me just open this and show you quite a few stuff. Number one thing that helps me here are like flags. Like these are post-it flags, like pure post-it flags that I absolutely love. They kind of look like this, and they are like, like if I, does it help? Like it's kind of made of plastic, so it's first thing reusable. So when I'm donating this book, by any chance, like not this book, I won't donate this book, but example, if I'm donating a book that has a lot of flags in it, I'm going to remove the flags and like put it back to like a plastic sheet like this and reuse it in another book. And the second thing being that there are like 5 colors available here. I already finished the orange for this book, and there was a blue as well somewhere which I used for some other book, so that's why this looks like this right now. If you are interested in buying these post-it notes, then you can just it's called Post-it Flags basically, by the brand Post-it itself. And I love the Post-it brand because I'm a very huge stationery buff. But that being said, so how do I use this, right? Any form of physical book that I'm reading, and I kind of like select one particular flag. Like for example, for this one, for Choke, this is something that I finished recently. I actually selected an orange flag because I felt like orange goes well with the book. I just like selected orange randomly, and then wherever I felt like I was getting a lot triggered, or like wherever I felt like I was just feeling I just felt very reflective, I went with another color post-it. And the thing is that with these particular post-it notes, especially like with these ones, you cannot write on them, right? Like this is plastic, you need like a Sharpie or a marker to write on them. So for that purpose, in order to like just write, I have this particular flag post-it note. So this is specifically from Muji, and I love Muji. Now you don't need to like invest in like expensive stationery like me, because I'm like this huge crazy person who invests a lot in stationery. But my point is that oops, it fell down. But my point is just that you can just like get something very cheap from your local stationery store, right? And let me pick that up and get back to you. Basically, how do I use this? Okay, so in short, I basically like anything that I need to like note down or jot down, and I don't want to jot it down in the margins because I want to refer it later on. I just like put in this, write something, and just like stick it there. And generally these notes are like, these are made of paper, so you cannot reuse them once you write. So I don't remove them while giving away my book, or even if I'm like donating my book and these are there, I may just like end up disposing it. So I tend to use this less and tend to use this more because these are more recyclable, and I can like recyclable. When I say recyclable, it means I can reuse them, right? So yeah, that's that. And when you see like any of these notes here, there are times when this space is very small, so I end up writing in the margins. And that gets me to my next stationery product that I use, and that's a color pen. And I have a lot of color pens, and this is just one of them. And this is coincidentally, this is again for Muji. I really love Muji a lot. And this is an orange pen that I've been like really going gaga over. I basically use this to write notes in the columns. Now, yeah, I know a lot of you will be just horrified because people don't like destroying their books like I do. But I really like writing my notes in the margins, or if I don't write them in the margins, most probably 98% I'm writing them in the sticky notes. But the other 2% of the times when the sticky notes are too small, I write my notes in the margins. The reason why I do this kind of note taking is specifically because it kind of helps me process the book, especially when it's like a non-fiction book, like this huge ass book which has this heavy, it's not huge ass, but when it's a heavy topic where I have a lot of thoughts, or if I need to go into a discussion with somebody. For example, this is something that I read for the consciousness raising book club. Then I generally like have a lot of thoughts, and I would like to like go prepared with my points beforehand. And this is something that has changed my life. Now, of course, it's on you whether you want to write in the margins or you want to write on sticky notes or whatever. Like, that's totally your call. But you need to be annotating, or you need to be kind of processing the book in a format that's more comfortable for you, be it in a visual format or be it in any other format. And one thing that again helps me along with a color pen is highlighter, and I use a zebra mildliner. Again, I have very fancy stationery. You don't need to have fancy stationery like me, but this one is again the orange zebra mildliner, and it goes with it. So anything that I want to highlight, and earlier I used to highlight like a lot of stuff in books, but now I've stopped doing that because books tend to have like thin paper. But whenever I find something that's like very important that needs to be like highlighted, and I need to like put it in my brain, then I normally use this end of the highlighter in order to highlight it. Yeah, because this is like thicker and it takes a lot of space, and then there's a lot of bleeding that happens, but this is something that really helps me. So the 4 things that I use basically to summarize with respect to stationery would be, first thing being stationery notes, right? Like stationery flags, like any form of flag to flag things out, in a color coded format, of course. Then sticky notes to write on. Again, if you find something redundant, you can like totally chuck it off. The next one being a color pen to write notes in the margins, and the last one being a highlighter to highlight anything that I find very, very important. So yeah, this is where the physical aspect of the whole video ends. And now I will be switching camera angles and showing you and getting you through all the apps that I want to show you for this particular video. So the first app that I want to start with is, of course, Goodreads. And Goodreads is my whole and soul place. I have an account here. If you do not know yet, please go ahead and add me on Goodreads. This is how it looks. And of course, if you've not used Goodreads, you know that there are multiple shelves that you can make on Goodreads, and default would be currently reading, want to read, and read. And this is how my profile looks like, just scrolling down and showing you how it looks and what all do I do on this app. But the interesting thing is my shelves. So on my shelves, I have the read shelf, my currently reading shelf, and my want to read, which are the default ones. In my want to read, what I basically put are books that interest me. So when I go to the bookstore, I open my want to read list and see which books have I added in there, and as per that, I search for it. So I'm not lost in the bookstore. Basically, I try to keep that aspect organized. However, then it's on my mood and my budget on what I want to buy. But this is a nice guide to have. Any book that interests me, I just put it into want to read list. Now, coming to the interesting part, and that's my bookshelf inventory list. So anytime I'm at a bookstore and I buy physical books, I get them and I scan them. Yes, indeed. So this is more like my, you know, bookshelf, the entire physical bookshelf loaded onto my Goodreads. And yeah, this is how I scan books. There's a scan books option there. You can scan the barcode. And also, I use the Kindle inventory, although my Kindle inventory is not that updated, and I have other random shelves as well. I don't use the other random shelves like want to read nonfiction books and all. I tried using them, it does not work. So this is what I stick to, like 5 shelves, including Kindle inventory and bookshelf inventory, and then the default read, currently reading, and want to read. And in currently reading also I update my progress, and as you can see you can update which page are you on or which percent are you on, and that's how I use Goodreads. Also goals, my 2021 reading challenge is currently at 60, but the moment I hit 60 I will be increasing it to 70. But if you want a separate video on how to meet your reading goals or your reading challenge, then please let me know. I would love to make that video. But that's it for my Goodreads. So the next app is called Read More, and if Goodreads is an online version of the app, then Read More is the offline version. Read More is not a social media app, it's basically a reading tracker app which has been developed by an independent not book, an independent developer called Shunan. So this is my currently reading list, the books that I'm reading currently, and mainly it's available on Android. From what I remember, my last conversation with the guy, he was also developing it for iOS. So if you scroll down, you will see my daily reading goal. So the goal can be anything. It can be in pages. It can be, some time. So if you say you want to read 20 pages a day, then that's good enough. Or if you say I want to read 1 hour a day, then that's good enough as well. And this app also has, an hourly tracker. So you can use that as well. Uh, Okay, coming to the TBR, I don't do TBR, so I don't have anything here, but I do have reading plans, so go check out my weekly reads. Now, getting to my bookshelves or shelves in general, I have my to be read list here. So, this is kind of redundant because this kind of apes my bookshelf inventory that you saw on Goodreads. However, I don't keep this updated anymore because I just find it redundant, but it's good to see it. So, yeah, that's that. And the next one is my finished reading list. And this has a very, very nice view on the app because I can see on a monthly basis what I read. So, July, I read this. August, I read that, things like that. And then my book collections where it says all books, borrowed books, and bookshelf. And I can keep adding collections in here, which is very, very nice. So, that being said, let me show you how can you add no wait yeah so basically this is something that I would like to stress more on. So the app is pretty customizable. So this is a physical book that I'm reading, so that's why it has 1474 pages. Even if you're reading a different edition, no worries. You can use it. Oh, so basically you can change your date here. So I know that I won't be able to finish this by September, so I changed it to October. And my start date was 10 July. So I've been reading this since a long time. And my total number of pages, yes, that's editable, like I said. And my current position, that's editable as well. I have a target for today, but this is something automated by the app. I don't use it. Then it's in my bookshelf, and of course, the genre is fiction. So, quite customizable stuff. Also, yes, if you have highlights, you can add highlights. I use post-it notes for my physical book, so I don't use this section specifically. But yeah, if this fancies you, this is a very nice app. I think the only drawback of the app would be that in order to access audiobooks and percentages, you need the pro version. That's why that crown on top. But the pro version is pretty cheap. I think the last time I checked, it was about 250 or 350 rupees. So that's just like about 2 USD. That's it. So it's pretty cheap, and you get like a lot of stuff just for that amount. Then coming to okay, so let's add a book here, right? So for this part of the app, you need internet because this is powered by Google. So currently, I'm reading The Death of Vivek Oji, and what I'll do is search for the book. I'll go down and select which version am I reading, like which book cover am I reading exactly, and I'm reading that pinkish book cover. So and I'm reading a Kindle ebook. So I'll just click on percentage, And TBR month, I don't care about the TBR month, but it's a book on my Kindle and I don't need to add a new collection because that's already there. And this is contemporary fiction for me, so I'm going to add in contemporary and fiction here. Um, yeah, and after that, I'll just click on start reading. So yeah, and I can also like put in an end date. So I think I'll complete it by the end of the month. I'm hoping to do that. So this is how it looks. And my current position is 6% because I've already started reading the book. So yeah, this is how the app looks. It's a nice app. Go ahead, check it out and support an independent developer today. It's very nice. So yeah. So the next app is the Goodreads alternative called Storygraph, which I use not on a frequent basis, but I like using this app a lot, especially because of statistics. Yes. So this is the home page, and moving to the profile page, you can add me here, you can follow me here. This is the community page basically, but let's please go to statistics right now because that's what I use this app for. So stats, everything statistically provided in a pie chart, helping my A-type personality a lot. So this gives me a lot of data points that I can help myself to read better, especially when it comes to genres. As you can see, I have read a lot of literary books this year. I have read a lot of history books this year, and reading a lot of these two genres has been my aim. So this particular app helps me with data, and also this graph where I read a lot of books, number of books that I've read, stuff like that, and also my average rating over the period of time. And especially I really like looking back on this data where I don't need to work hard for it. And if I select the month of July, then you can also see which particular books have I specifically read, fiction, non-fiction, genres, and also my average rating. So I do have like a separate story graph tool that you can check out in the description box below. And right now I'm adding The Death of Vivek Oji into my list. So this is something that's not been there in my currently reading list for now. So let me just move into currently reading. But as I was saying, if you want a separate tour, please go ahead, check out my video in the description box that I made earlier, I think this year or late 2020, where I'm just exploring Storygraph and understanding it more. So there are a lot of other features as well on this application that I explore on that particular video, but this is what I actually use the app for. And if you thought all of this is overkill, then you have met the king or queen of overkill right now, and that is this particular sheet that I used to record my completed books. And this is on Google Drive, so I can access it from anywhere, anytime. And it basically has all of this data that's been inspired by Smriti. Actually, Smriti has a dedicated video to which how she records all of this on her personal Excel sheet. I'll link it down below, Smriti from Santreats. But yeah, let's do one thing. Let's add a book that I read recently, which has not been added in here yet. So I don't read my currently reading books here because that would be too much of an overkill. But I add my completed books in here. Okay, so recently I finished Clara and the Sun, and I like to call it sci-fi on some level, like it's contemporary sci-fi, but okay, it's sci-fi for me. By Kazuo Ishiguro, and he is a male. So basically, even with gender, like I have very few written in there, and I need to improve the way I read. Yes, British, Japanese, of course. He's an Asian man. And no, the book has not been translated from any language. I think I'll write contemporary. No, I think I'll write AI here. Okay, cool. So I'll just write AI here because that's what the book is about. And yeah, so this is an audiobook. So, and I read it via the Libby app. So I just add that there. I completed it in August 2021, And yes, it's complete. So, after this, I'll just show you my DNFs as well. Um, my complete, and this was 4 stars for me. So I'll just enter 4 in here. And yeah, like as you can see DNFs in here. Wizard of the Crow. I think there's La Miserable as well. That's a DNF. I would have filtered it out and shown it to you, but then it's okay. You don't need to meet my ambitious type A personality here. And now let's see, I think the statistics. So yeah, this is how it looks overall. And the colors are like alternate months, right? So anything that's violet. So August would be a violet. So this is just to distinguish between the books read in a particular month. So I just alternate the colors like that. Yeah. So that being said, I'll just move to the other sheet, which is the statistics sheet. So anything that Storygraph does not cover, I like covering it here. Of course, Storygraph covers genres, that's okay. Gender, it does not. And I've been doing a bad job with gender. I'm not yet a single non-binary person, unfortunately, or any from any other gender. Then subgenre, yes. Race, race of the authors, the format read, the nationality, and the source. Oh, okay. A lot of Americans in nationality. Not that's not good. Then my source being Libby or owned on shelf. So multiple pie charts that I like to keep track of. So yeah, I mean, this is how I do it. This is my first year doing this as well. I hope you like it. I hope you like this sheet a lot. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video. I mean, this is something that I was meaning to do since some time now in order to just put it out there that these are some ideas that you could use in order to better your reading life. And especially like again, like I said, I do a lot of things to keep my reading life intact because I also have a YouTube channel and I also have a lot of reading projects going on. The only other thing that I do outside of work is generally reading and painting. Okay, and even when I'm painting, I'm listening to an audiobook. So you know how like antisocial my life is. Like I rarely go out. I'm normally at home and I sit at home reading. But yeah, that being said, I hope this helped you a lot. And if you reached here till the end of this particular video, thank you so much for watching till the very end. I am very grateful that you've stayed till here, and maybe you could leave me a pen emoji, like leave me a pen emoji. I don't know why, because it's like about stationery tools and stuff like that. But yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got certain ideas from it, and if you're planning to apply any of them, let me know. Okay, you can let me know on Instagram, you can let me know on Goodreads, anywhere. Whatever was your output from this video, we can communicate. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you on my next video, whenever it is. Bye.